in the lecture of the electronic circuits. So today we would be start the topic SMPS, switch mode power supply. In the last lecture we have learned about the LDO. So this is the one of the last section of this unit. So in next one or two lecture it would be complete. Okay, so we start the topic SMPS. So SMPS stands for basically switch mode power supply. The basic concept behind the SMPS or switch mode power supply is that regulation is undertaken by a switching regulator. So we have already know that the voltage regulation can be performed by the two types of regulator. One is the linear regulator, another one the switching. So in the SMPS, this regulation has been undertaken by switching regulators. We have learned the switching regulators. Now, a switch mode power supply is an electronic circuit that converts the power using the switching devices that are turned on or turned off at high frequencies, store and storage components such as inductors or capacitors to supply power when the switching device is in its non-conduction state. If you would see the overview of the SMPS, it is nothing but an electronic device that converts the power using switching devices. Switching devices means it is transistors, maybe BJT, maybe MOSFETs. You can use any of the switching devices for convert the power. And according to the turning on and off of these switching devices, the signal would be generated at the high frequency, and there are some storage components are also used in filters like inductors and capacitors to supply the power when switching device is in non-conduction state. So if you have to see, switching power supplies have high efficiency and are widely used in a variety of electronic equipments, including computers and other sensitive equipment require stable and efficient power supply. So in the screen, you can also see I have taken the one of the photograph of SMPS that is basically used in the CPU. If you have seen the computers, I'm not talking about laptops, but in the computers, you can easily see the section of the SMPS that is back panel of the CPU, and that would be used for regulated power supply to the motherboard of the CPU. If there would be any fluctuation, it would be damage the motherboard. That's why we use generally the SMPS there. Now we have to see the block diagram of this particular SMPS. This is the just a if it is well packaged box is there, aluminum box is there. Inside that there is a lots of the circuit components are. So now we would be elaborate which circuit components are used in the SMPS. So everyone, please take the screenshot or note down this diagram. This is the block diagram of SMPS, switch mode power supply. If you would be see here, start from the left section, that is the input section, and to the move to the right section, that is output section. So we have take here, you can see there is a AC input that is coming from the supply to our households. So this AC input supply, it is given to the input rectification and filtering circuit. So for the rectification, we use the rectifiers, full wave or half wave rectifiers. You can, but generally we use the full wave rectifiers. And then after rectification, it would be passed through a capacitor that is used to filtering the signal, and in this way we would be get some you can say rectified DC output. That is little bit ripples could be present there, and this rectified DC signal, rectified and filtered DC signal would be given to the input of the switching device, and these are the high frequency switching devices are there. You can see in the diagram we generally use a MOSFET or maybe a BJT for switching purpose, and the output of the switching device is actually a time varying pulse or time varying signals. You can see there is a square wave at the output of the switching device. Now the question could be arise in your mind that how this DC would be converted into the high frequency time varying signal. Okay. Now for this purpose, you can see here there is a one input to this particular switching device. So what is this input? If you have to be see, this input is coming out from the feedback circuitry. So one of the feedback circuitry is used here, that is consists of an error amplifier, an oscillator, and a pulse width modulation circuit, PWM circuit. So this whole circuitry that is called as a control circuit. This would be generate a time varying pulse, and this pulse is given to the either the base of BJT or the gate of the MOSFET, and at the emitter terminal, or you can say the source terminal, there would be a high frequency time varying signal would be generated. Now you can see this high frequency time varying signal is given to the power transformer. That is basically a step down power transformer. So at the secondary winding of the power transformer would be, there would be a signal, that is a AC signal you can say, that would be further rectified with the help of the flyback diode you can say, or catch diode, and then filtered through the LC filter. Here you have seen in the diagram. So we generally use the LC filters here. So the inductor and capacitor would be further smoothen out the rectified signal, that is nearly a constant DC output voltage would be obtained, or maybe some ripples would be also present, and this DC signal would be further feedback to the switching device through the oscillator and PWM circuit. So in this way you can see we would be obtained from a AC supply to a DC constant DC output. So this is the whole function of this SMPS. Okay, I hope all of you have noted down this particular diagram. So again I would be repeat the operation. So the AC supply is first rectified and then filtered by the input reservoir capacitor to produce a rough DC input supply, and the resulting DC voltage is fed to a, you can say it is a chopper stage as well, including high efficient MOSFET or switching transistors. And here it is very important to note that the transistors gate or transistors base, depending upon the type of transistor, are fed by an oscillator providing a constant frequency pulse width modulated signal. in order to chop the DC into a high frequency AC voltage. That's why we are getting the high frequency AC signal at the output of the switch. After that, subsequently, the high frequency AC voltage is supplied to the primary winding of the power transformer, and the in result of that, the secondary winding of the transformer, there would be some AC voltage, step down AC voltage is there, that would be further rectified to DC for use in the circuitry where it is required. And for conversion of the DC, we have to use a rectifier or diode, a flyback diode, and then a filter circuit that is consist of inductor and capacitor. So this voltage regulation is performed by a circuit that samples the output voltage and the signals the PWM oscillators to change the ratio of transistor on time and off time to maintain the constant voltage output. So this is all about the basic description or working phenomena of this switch mode power supply that we have learned through with the help of this block diagram. I hope you have understood the function. It is very straightforward and simple. For explanation of this, it is very important that every one of you have to know the function of discrete components. Means what is the role of rectifier, how the capacitor would be act as a filter, what is the role of or function of the transistor as a switch. If you are using BJT, then it would be working in the saturation region for working as a switch. If you are using the MOSFET, it would be working in the non-saturation region to working as a switch. Okay. So, and the role of transformers, what is the role of primary and secondary windings. Then further again the rectification, we using the filter circuit that is having inductor and the capacitor. So the function of inductor is also very much important here, as well as the role of oscillators and PWM circuits and error amplifier. Then and then only you would be able to explain the function operation of SMPS. Now we have to be see, generally I have told you that we are using a switching regulator as an SMPS. Up to before this particular topic, whatever we have learned, that all about the linear regulators, where we have learned the fixed voltage regulator as well as adjustable voltage regulator. So now we have come to the topic of switching regulator. So this is a circuit diagram of the switching regulator. That step down switching regulator we are talking about here, that step down switching regulator. So it is nothing but a circuit diagram of a SMPS, you can say. So here you can see, as similar to the block diagram we have discussed, we are using here the switching device. There is an input voltage as a DC input. Okay. Then there is a switching device, that is here I have shown the BJT. You can use a MOSFET as well. Then there is a oscillator that is also having the PWM circuit as well. Then there is an error amplifier, that is nothing but a voltage comparator. It is an op-amp. So one of the non-inverting terminal is having the reference voltage, and inverting terminal is receiving the voltage, that is a feedback voltage VF, that is coming out from the network R1 in series with R2. Okay. And then the switching output voltage is considered as a VA is there. There's a terminal A is shown here. Then the switch output is connected to a catch diode. You can say this diode is considered as a catch diode or flyback diode, you can say. Okay, this is parallel to the output network. Then there is a filter circuit that is nothing but consists of L and C or LC circuit. Okay, inductor and capacitors. And at this output of this filter, there is across R1, R2, we have to be got the constant DC output voltage. Okay, so this is basically, you can say, a block diagram of this SMPS or switching regulator. If you would be again, I can explain the working of this. This is very simple. So we are getting a DC input VI, that is actually a rectified input, not perfectly DC, but nearby DC. Pulsating DC is there actually. This transistor that is acting as a switching device, it is act as an series pass transistor. So it is acting as a switch. It operates in the saturation region. I have told, because it is a BJT. BJT would be act as a closed switch in the saturation region and open switch in the cutoff region. So it would be switch in the cutoff and saturation region to make the signal on and off. So remember, in the active region only BJT would be act as an amplifier. So we would be not bias this transistor in the active region. We would always keep it in the saturation region or either in the cutoff region. So you can see here in this particular voltage comparator, one of the voltage that is coming to the inverting terminal or negative terminal here, that is nothing but a feedback voltage that is derived from the resistive network R1 and R2. So what is the value of Vf is here? Can anyone define from your class? What is the equation of Vf as saying from this particular circuitry? Can anyone tell me? Sadia Pathan. What is the equation of Vf? This is the voltage Vf, you can say. Here we are getting the Vf that is coming out from this particular network, R1 and R2 in series. Simply, can anyone tell the value of this Vf? What rule we have to be applied here? No one is responding. Simply we have to use when two resistors are in the series and we have to be drawn out a voltage signal in between of these two resistors. So it is, we have to apply the voltage division rule. So what is the voltage division rule? It is R2 upon R1 plus R2. Okay. And what is the total voltage or maximum voltage here? There is V naught. So this amount of feedback voltage would be given to the inverting terminal of the voltage comparator, you can say. And this would be compare the voltage that is available at the non-inverting terminal, that is a reference voltage. And the difference of these two voltage would be called as a error voltage, and this error voltage would be proportional to the controlled DC output, because if this error voltage has been generated between the comparison of controlled DC voltage at the output terminal and reference voltage. So it would be always proportional to the output DC, and this error voltage would be given to, or you can again say, the compared with the oscillator output, that would be again passed through a PWM circuit, pulse width modulator circuit, and it is given fed to the base of the transistor or switch. So at the collector terminal there is input voltage, at the base terminal there is the PWM output voltage is there, or time varying voltage you can say. So at the emitter terminal, at the output terminal, because it is acting in the saturation region, there would be a high frequency switching output would be there, and this is would be rectangular waveform, that is on off mode, and depend upon the switching frequency of the PWM circuit. So it would be actually control the on off time of the transistor output. And this rectangular waveform that is coming out from the emitter terminal of the transistor Q1 is further filtered by the LC filter circuit, and at the output end we would be receive a controlled DC output voltage, and then again it would be feedback and the process is going on. Now we have to see the output waveforms of this particular circuitry. So this is the switching regulator waveform. So you can see here in the diagram, as I have shown to you, Vi, it is a constant DC, okay, that is given to the collector terminal of the transistor switch. This is the oscillator output or PWM output, you can say. This is a rectangular waveform, okay. So this is the T on time for this oscillator output. This is a T off time for this oscillator, okay. And according to that particular T on and T off, what happens? This is the switch output VA. This is the output voltage at the available at the emitter terminal of the transistor switch Q1. So it would be also rectangular waveform, and there is some T on and T off time for the switch output. And according to this T on and T off, your output voltage would be generated, because it would be further rectified and filtered out so as the output voltage. So you can see here, if you would be refer the this particular waveform, this input voltage DC Vi would be converted into a Va by the action of the oscillator output, you can say, and this output voltage would be then further, means the output voltage of switch Va would be further given to the or produced at given to the filter of this circuitry, and at the output of the filter, what happens? It would be filter would be actually smooth out the time varying signal switching out input switching output. Actually, it would be further smoothen out with the help of this filter circuit, and you can see in the output voltage at during the on time of the switch output, it would be a little bit increasing in nature, okay, and when this would be gone to the off time, T off time, this would be, you can say, this would be decreasing. So this would be performed with the help of this inductor and capacitor. So when your switch output is on, at that time inductor current would be linearly increases, and because of this, what happens? Your output voltage would be also not perfectly DC, but it would be little bit rippled, and it would be increasing in nature from its base level or reference level. And when it would be goes into the off condition, the polarity of the inductor would be reversed, and your whatever the charge or current would be stored in the inductor, it would be start to discharge through this capacitor circuit, and slowly it would be come back to its reference level, and this process will be going on. So difference between this reference level to this peak value of the output voltage, that would be called as a rippled voltage. So it is ripple voltage would be generated because of the charging and discharging of the capacitor via inductor. Okay, so this is the output waveform of the switching regulator, or you can say the SMPS. So there would be some amount. This is a controlled DC output, not perfectly DC. So this is also a difference between a linear voltage regulator and switching regulator. In the linear voltage regulator, you are getting a constant DC output, but here it is a little bit rippled DC output voltage. Okay, now we have to see the types of the SMPS. If you would see the types, there are different types of the SMPS are available, but out of that we have to discuss the 4 buck regulator or step down regulator. It is generally used to reduce a DC voltage to a lower DC voltage. Then boost regulator or step up regulator or converter, you can say, that would be provides an output voltage that is higher than the input voltage. Then the third one is buck boost converter or regulator. It is basically also called as inverting regulator because an output voltage is generated that is opposite in polarity to the input. And fourth one is shown here, the flyback converter. In this case, an output voltage would be generated that is less than or greater than the input, because it would be having some multiple outputs. We would see later on when we would be discuss in detail. And in this particular topic, we have to know the fundamentals of the inductor operations. So here I have shown some diagrams that would be showing the way that the current would be flow into the inductors with respect to the time domain. So you can see the current flowing in the inductor will be a time varying even if the forcing voltage is constant across the inductor. So the voltage across the inductor would be calculated with the help of formula L into delta phi upon delta of t, or you can say derivative of I upon derivative of t, di of dt. So you can see there are 3 cases when the current is constant. So the rate of change of current would be 0. So the voltage across the inductor would be 0. But when the d of dit would be more than 0, greater than 0, means it is linearly increasing. So at that moment, the voltage would be also greater than 0 across the inductor. And also the inductor having the property of reversing the polarities. So at that moment, what happens? The rate of change of current would be decreasing in nature, or it is less than 0. That is shown in this particular graph. And at that moment, the voltage across the inductor would be negative or less than 0. So these are the 3 different conditions of voltage across the inductor and the current through the inductor. Because this fundamental knowledge would be required for the further study of the switching regulators or the converters. In all regulators, we have to use the inductors. So we have to come to our first converter or regulator, you can say. It is a step down converter, or it is another name having the buck regulator. So if you have to see this particular diagram, in this particular diagram, everyone please note it down. This particular diagram is there. This is very important diagram because on the basis of this diagram we will be further discuss the operation. So you can see here, if you would be going to correlate the circuit diagram of switching regulator or the SMPS, there is a switching device. Q1 is also same. This would be encircled by a rectangle. that is consist of error amplifier, oscillator, and PWM circuit. So this is the controller I have shown here. This diagram is actually taken from the David A. Bell, the electronic device and circuit. There is a book written by the David A. Bell. It is a very good book. So I have taken from this particular book, directly take a reference from this particular book. You can also refer this book for this particular topic. So at the output of the switch, as similar, there is a catch diode is there. There is a filter circuit, that is L1 and C1 is shown here, LC filter circuit. Then you can say this is the output network as same in the switching regulator circuitry, R1 and R2, that is used for the feedback to this controller circuit. And this is also the part of the controller, you can say R1 and R2 here. And there is a further, you can connect any load to this regulator, maybe any load like a electric bulb or fan or anything, depending upon your application. Okay. So if you would be see here, I hope all you have taken the screenshot of this diagram, or maybe drawn this diagram on your notebook. Now we would be see the operation. We have just 5 minutes left, so all of you start to fill up your attendance on the chat box. Now you have to be see this buck converter is used in the SMPS circuits where DC output voltage needs to be lower than the DC input voltage. Here we are doing the DC to DC conversion. Actually, the DC input can be derived from an rectified AC or directly from a DC supply also you can use. The catch diode D1 is normally reverse biased when the transistor switch is on, but becomes forward biased when the switch would be off. So this is a property of this, that the way we have connected a diode actually in such a way. Now we would be divide the circuit operation into two conditions. First condition, when your switch, or here we are using a BJT transistor switch, is on. So when the transistor Q1 is on, this is the one of the circuit condition. Second condition is when the Q1 is off. So you can see according to the functioning of the devices, when the transistor is Q1 is on, I have a little bit modified the diagram. You can also draw this diagram, that is very important for explanation of the working of this buck converter. Now you can see in this particular diagram, in the leftmost side there is the input voltage, this is the DC input. Then transistor is acting as a switch, so I have shown a switch here, closed switch, Q1 is on. The voltage across this closed switch is Vsat because it is working in the saturation mode. So across this switch, what is the voltage available? That is Vi minus Vsat. Vi minus Vsat. So at that terminal A, VA is nothing but Vi minus Vsat here. Across this, there is a one diode, that is a catch diode is connected, and it is connected in such a way that cathode is connected towards the output of switch and anode is connected to the ground terminal. So because of this connection, what happens, it would be now working in the reverse bias mode when your transistor Q1 is on. And filter circuit, you have to see L1 and C1, the polarity has been shown. Inductor voltage is VL, Vi minus Vsat minus V0. This is the output voltage. You have to be follow the KVL across this loop. You will find this voltage as a inductor voltage. This is very important equation. And then IL, the current flowing through the L1, I0, the current flowing through the load. Okay. So this is the circuitry that is derived the operation of the switching regulator. Now, if you would be see the function, so what is the function? Now, when the Q1 is on, at that moment, it is working in the saturation region, and because of the transistor Q1 is on, there would be some amount of inductor current would be start to flow across the inductor, and that because of this inductor current, there is some voltage would be drop across the inductor, that is VL, and it is positive at the left end and negative at the right end. You can see that the polarity of the inductor is very much clear from this diagram. So at that time, D1 would be act in the reverse bias condition, and the output voltage would be held in the constant value because of this large value capacitor across the output terminal. So the current through the inductor would be L would be increased linearly. Because of this constant voltage, output voltage, this inductor current would be start to increase linearly. Okay. This is the first mode of the operation when the Q1 is on. Second mode, when it would be in off state. So this is the circuit diagram for the off state. Okay, now the time is very much less. So in the next lecture, we would be discuss the remaining function of this buck converter, and also we would be learn about the boost converter in the next lecture. Okay, thank you all of you for attending the lecture today.